Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the current US housing market is experiencing an unprecedented inventory crisis that is creating tremendous demand from buyers, making it nearly impossible for people to find and buy homes and causing real estate values to soar out of control. And in an effort to help fix the problem, the Biden administration is proposing a $15,000 first-time home buyer tax credit, which I believe is going to make the problem 10 times worse. On this video, find out why and what I believe is the right solution that could actually fix the housing problem. All of that and more coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Quickstart Kit with everything you need to flip your first house in 30 days or less. Download it now at myquickstartkit.com.
If this is your first time here, my name is Jerry Norton. I've been a full-time real estate investor now for over 17 years. Amongst other things, I specialize in flipping houses all across the country, and I've helped thousands of new investors get into the game of flipping and create 6 and even 7-figure incomes. Now, if you want to learn how to flip houses so that you can live your dream life, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. Now, I lived through the previous real estate boom, and this one is nothing like the last one. And if you're gonna get involved in real estate at any level, I think it's important that you understand what is happening and why it's happening so that you can not just take advantage of the opportunities, but be ready to adjust and adapt when the market corrects, which it always does. The up and down cycles of real estate is determined by supply or inventory, which is the number of available houses for sale, and demand or buyers who want to purchase homes. In early 2020, the US housing market was already experiencing low inventory, and when the pandemic hit, inventory tightened even more. Combined with low interest rates, a decrease in new housing caused by delays and increases in cost of construction, there is simply not enough supply to meet the crazy high demand, which has caused home values to soar out of control. For example, I bought a house a few months ago to flip for $120,000. All I did was paint it and a few other minor things and then put it back up for sale intentionally a little low at $140,000. In 48 hours, I had over 50 showings and received multiple over list price offers, and I settled on an offer that was for $160,000, and the buyer was super qualified, putting $30,000 down on a conventional loan with an appraisal guarantee. And that's happening everywhere, all across the country, at every price point with no end in sight. By the way, if you're not in the real estate game right now, you're missing out on an opportunity of a lifetime. So let me tell you how to get in on the action right now. I'm aggressively flipping houses all across the country, and I have systems and capital in place, and my biggest problem is finding more deals, so I need your help. Become a deal finder for me, and for every deal you find and bring me that meets my criteria, I'll pay you $10,000. Now, if that sounds exciting, join me on a free training to learn all about it. Just go to my10kcheck.com for more details. The scary thing about a runaway real estate market is when real estate appreciates too much and too fast, it creates a bubble, and when the bubble pops and the market corrects, it corrects hard, which means homeowners and investors alike get caught in properties that are now upside down and are worth less than they owe on them. When that happens and people have negative equity, they let their properties go back to the bank, and the market is flooded with a tsunami of foreclosures, driving real estate values down even further. Now, as bad as that is for everyone, the good news is if you're a flipper like me, if you do it right as far as the flipping business model goes, it really doesn't matter whether the market is up or down because we buy at a discount and we quickly resell at the current retail value. So we're not in properties very long. Now, if you're a flipping genius like me, you adjust on the way down and on the way up, and you make money flipping regardless of what the market is doing. Of course, that's only true if you're really in tune with the up and down cycle and buy right. Timing is everything. That's why I don't speculate on future appreciation when it's going up, and I anticipate further decline in value when the market is depressed and going down. In other words, I buy right so I can safely flip for a profit. And whatever your involvement is in real estate, the big concern everyone has is where is the market heading and when is it going to correct? Now, I ask that question every single day, and there are a lot of opinions on the topic, and there are a lot of factors that play a role, But one thing is for sure, government intervention in the form of policy certainly affects real estate for good or bad, and depending on the policy, it can drastically affect the real estate market. Now, my personal opinion is that the government should stay out of it and let the market naturally solve the problem. You know, the good old-fashioned capitalist free economy thing that made this the greatest country in the world in the first place, but we're clearly way past that now, so we're not going to go there. Speaking of government intervention, currently, as of this recording, supposedly in an effort to help fix the housing crisis, the Biden administration is proposing a $15,000 home buyer tax credit for first-time buyers, which I think is going to have severe negative consequences on the housing market and perpetuate the low inventory problem even more. Now I'm going to explain and you decide, so keep watching. This isn't the first tax credit that's been offered to first-time home buyers. Under President Barack Obama, the federal government offered a first-time home buyer tax credit of $7,500 in 2008 and $8,000 in 2009 and 2010 via the Housing and Economic Recovery Act. Now, those who received the credit in 2008 were required to pay back the credit over time. The Biden administration hasn't released very many details so far about this new first-time homebuyer tax credit, but one key difference with earlier tax credits is that with the previous tax credits, borrowers had to pay the money out of their own pocket to buy the house, and then later at tax time were reimbursed the tax credit. But listen to this. Biden's proposal is that the $15,000 tax credit would be available to borrowers up front at the time of purchasing a home. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you catch that? That means a first-time buyer can get an upfront $15,000 credit that's applied to the down payment at the time of buying a house. Do you know what that means? Let me tell you. A $15,000 credit upfront at the time of purchase would cover a borrower's entire down payment for a home in 40 of the 50 largest U.S. metro markets. This would push millions of renters who couldn't previously qualify to buy homes into instant buyers in the marketplace. Now, according to Moody's Analytics, renters save only 2.4% of their income each year. At that rate, it would take a typical renter about 14 years to save $15,000. Now, aside from it being morally wrong to take taxpayers' money to essentially give free housing to unqualified buyers, it doesn't tend to work out long term when people don't have skin in the deal in the form of their own money for the down payment. Now, my first house I bought was for $92,000. My wife and I scrimped and saved for years to come up with $7,000 for the down payment. That house was special to us because it represented a big sacrifice. Homeownership is not a right, it's a privilege. But let's set that aside and just look at the immediate impact Biden's tax credit would have on the housing market. Do you realize what it would do to the already crazy high demand and out of control prices? We are in the lowest housing inventory of all time, and we're going to give incentives for people to buy homes, creating even more demand. Biden's tax credit would make the problem 10 times worse. The federal government is missing the boat completely on this one. Now, if they're going to give incentives to help improve the real estate market, why give incentives to buyers? If anything, give incentives to sellers to create more inventory to meet all of the demand. More supply is how to fix the problem, not more demand. Now, if I were in charge, I would offer tax incentives to sellers, which would provide more inventory to meet the demand and stabilize the housing market. There are two incentives that I would give to sellers. First is that offer a capital gains exemption to investors. Now, if you own investment property, a huge deterrent to sell is having to pay capital gains tax. Now, for that reason, long-term investors tend to hold on to their properties. Let's offer a temporary capital gains exemption to investors. Now, this would open up a lot of additional housing to meet all of the demand. And if the goal is to help first-time home buyers, fine. Add a requirement that to be eligible for the capital gains exemption, you have to sell to a first-time home buyer. In my mind, this is a win-win for everyone. First-time home buyers are able to find a home to buy while keeping prices affordable. The second incentive would be to offer similar tax breaks to sellers who provide new construction housing in the marketplace. Now, right now, with the rising cost of construction, there is less motivation for investors to build new. offering a new construction tax incentive would not only create more new housing to help offset all of the demand, but it would also incentivize current homeowners to sell their existing homes, to trade up and buy new, again, freeing up much more needed inventory. Here's the short of it. Providing an advanceable $15,000 first-time homebuyer tax credit alone, I believe, will have severe consequences in today's housing inventory strangled market. But offering incentives to owners and builders, the Biden administration could help stabilize the housing market, prevent a market crash, and promote the largest wave of homeownership in history. The problem is giving incentives to investors doesn't win votes, even if it solves the problem. Giving free housing to unqualified buyers does win votes, even if it makes the problem worse for everyone. Now, if you agree and think I should be in charge, leave a comment and say, Jerry, you are a flipping genius. If you disagree, that's okay too. I'd love to know why. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. But one thing is for certain, I plan on writing it all the way up and then writing it all the way back down as well. Now, if you want to do the same, be sure to watch a video where I cover the top 5 most important trends to look for right now in real estate and how to capitalize on them. So watch that video now, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With over 675 videos, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things flipping, and I'll see you on the next video.